Buenos Aires. Hello, everyone. It is really great to see you, and I'm very excited to be here in Buenos Aires for the first time. I tried to come here a couple of years ago, but ended up not making it. So thank you, ETHLatam Buenos Aires, for inviting me as a speaker, for giving me an opportunity to see the country. Today, I'd like to talk about what kind of organization the Ethereum Foundation is and how we support the ecosystem. But before that, I'd like to talk a little bit about my background, and so that you can understand how we became the organization to support the infinite garden of Ethereum. When I started my career in Japan, I was a teacher. I believe in the power of education, and still think that I am an educator with my current role. Knowledge and access to information can lead to reshaping the future of a community or the world. I also taught my students the importance of learning diverse cultures and views, which is also essential for global understanding and also global coordination. Then I moved to San Francisco and discovered crypto. And I got fascinated with the possibilities that this nascent technology could bring financial inclusion and development of new economies with more open access to everyone. Then I joined Kraken as one of the earliest members of the team. And working at Kraken, I met a young Vitalik. He was very young. He's still young, but he was very young. And he was working on a new idea that can improve blockchain and crypto. And I was also fascinated because this new idea can increase the potential in things like financial inclusion more than 100 times. And yes, the idea was Ethereum. And later, when I left my previous work, Vitalik and some others asked me to come join at the Ethereum Foundation to help the organization, and I did. Back then, EF was just a hub for developers and researchers, focusing on building the platform with other community members. Ethereum was pretty big already, and I needed to redesign the roles of Ethereum Foundation. First, there were already many contributors outside of the Ethereum Foundation who were working on the infrastructure of platform as this is an open source project, but there was not good system to support those contributors. So one clear example of the first thing that I needed to do was to add the grant giving function to the Ethereum Foundation. Today, we do more comprehensive work than just giving grants, and I will explain part of it, but we do what's best for the Ethereum's healthy ecosystem long term. By healthy, I mean physically and culturally. Every good idea has trade-offs, just like Ethereum's trilemma. We sometimes have to sacrifice short-term advantage in order to achieve long-term vision. But we believe that that is one of virtues that the Ethereum ecosystem has, and that is tied to the soul of Ethereum. And within the EF, my most important role is to keep the soul of foundation so that EF can help the ecosystem keep the soul of Ethereum. I envision the future when our society will have systems that are more inclusive and open, so every single person has opportunities and access to be part of solutions. I believe Ethereum can help build that future, which is the source of our motivation, my motivation. And we are working toward that future together. So what is the Ethereum Foundation? The Ethereum Foundation exists to support things around the Ethereum technology and ecosystem. EF is a very unique organization. We are not just a normal nonprofit or a company. Why do we have to be unique? We believe Ethereum is a protocol for human coordination. It is not just money, it is not just technology. It is a protocol for human coordination that is supported by many great minds. And it can enable humans to coordinate better with more inclusiveness, transparency, and security. So, while Ethereum brings new views in human coordination, we learned that it requires new type of definitions and approaches to be understood and explained. So just like Ethereum, EF had to create a new type of collaboration system so that we can function flexibly to support the needs of the ecosystem. We have a little bit of more than this, but we are, yes, so instead of being a normal organization, we are like a community of teams that help coordinate many different things. Projects, people, teams, businesses, and schools that are building, developing, researching, and spreading the knowledge of the Ethereum technology and the Ethereum ecosystem. We do not just allocate resources, we coordinate activities, discussions, knowledge, and education in the ecosystem. Teams in the EF community are very aligned in a mission, but loosely coupled. The structure allows us to adapt to ever-changing conditions around Ethereum more easily. Also, lets us distribute power to support more organic growth. So, some examples, we have ongoing development teams working on long-term projects like this. They usually have a lot of independence. And we also have the ecosystem development side cluster to support everything else in the ecosystem. Teams on this side are not developing specific things, but finding ways to better support the ecosystem with a bigger picture. Their roles include building relationship, allocating funds, facilitating education, and spotting risk in the ecosystem. And these are examples of those teams, and you know, DevCon and ESP is Ecosystem Support Program, and there are others, Nextbillion, and our team told me we have a booth outside today, and some of team members are here. If you have any questions, and they will explain anything about the Ethereum Foundation. So, we are not a normal top-down organization. In order for EF teams to support this unique and decentralized ecosystem, they often need to act independently, but they also need to act toward the same mission and goals. I said our people are very mission-oriented. How do we keep the mission? There are 3 guiding principles that are key to the way we think and act, which I think are also important for the ecosystem. First one is long-term thinking. You may not see the impact of what we are doing or what you are building today or even in a year. We believe our impact should be measured in decades or centuries. We need to think about the time when we are not here to be alive anymore for the next generations. We take care of Ethereum for the infinite time beyond ourselves and our times. The second one is subtraction. You might have heard of this. I introduced this at DevCon Prague in 2018. We resist the natural tendency of organizations to accumulate prestige and power. Normally, an organization thinks about competition and tries to grow bigger. Instead, we push opportunities outwards. We are excited to see others to succeed. We try to matter less so that the ecosystem can thrive without the Ethereum Foundation in the long run. This was especially not easy at my earlier time. People really wanted EF to have power. People wanted EF to have control. But if you think about the world we are building, I believe each potential big power should subtract. So things get decentralized, and so power gets distributed. This is an important philosophy that we spend time and energy for new EF people to understand well. Last one is stewardship of values. Like I said, Ethereum has a soul. The values of our community are what made Ethereum what it is today. Values like open source, decentralization, open access, privacy, and many more. We care about nurturing the values that are important for the community. There are many other values we have and believe that are important, but these are the ones that we stick to and come back to. And the bigger our ecosystem grows, the more decentralized our ecosystem becomes. I increasingly feel that having shared values is very important. That leads to our vision of infinite garden. The garden of ecosystem where everyone lives in a healthy, sustainable environment in order to continue playing the game together instead of someone winning the game. I came up with the idea of infinite garden by reading the book Finite and Infinite Games by James Carse. I recommend this to anyone in the community. It's very easy to read and short. And you would understand what I meant by playing the game in order to continue the game together. So with our principles, we try to focus on what only EF can do. The ecosystem is growing, and it's nicely decentralized now. We are more than happy if things go smoothly without the Ethereum Foundation. We constantly ask this question: what are the things that still needs us that only EF can do? Helping others be mindful of the potential blockchain and Ethereum beyond cryptocurrencies or DeFi's is one of the ideas that naturally occurred to me asking that question: what are the things that only EF can do? We have team Next Billion, so we can think deeply about next billion users and builders, those who can benefit from this protocol of human coordination. We also have the Ethereum Foundation Fellowship program to help support a group of change makers that originally started in emerging economies. The first cohort just finished recently. The bottom left, Naroa, is working to connect schools with internet and building a new system to facilitate efficient collaboration between schools, government, and internet providers. And some of the governments that are involved actually are starting to stake. Benson on top right, he is working on decentralized insurance for small farmers in Sub-Saharan Africa working with the community team, ETHRisk. And Kuldeep, bottom right, he is working with BRAC, the biggest NGO and microfinance operators in Bangladesh, to use blockchain for a humanitarian project. And I have a video from them to introduce this.
I remember I read one of the first books I read about blockchain. There was a quote that says, "It doesn't matter what you want to build with blockchain, try to fix something that is broken or corrupt." We try to fix or at least improve, even at a very small level, how the public sector works. You can end up improving the lives of many. You have said that with the concept of the next billion. So almost 600 million people in Latin America kind of fulfill that description of the next billion.
This really is key for Ethereum Foundation's mission to reach the next billion, because in order to, be part of this network, you first need to be part of the digital economy and have access to the internet. So it's really solving this first foundational challenge that we face, where still over 600 million students and young people don't have access to the internet around the world, and in particular in sub-Saharan Africa.
We're in the very early stages of understanding how do we understand it, and what benefit does BRAC get from using blockchain? Because BRAC inherently started as a core, a decentralized organization, units working in the field, solving problems where they are, and kind of like solving problems in a decentralized manner. So it kind of made sense on a theoretical and a conceptual basis that we could use blockchain in our organization to good use.
The problem that I'm working on currently in ETH Africa has been the claims process. Traditional insurance has had a lot of problems when it comes to claims payout. They would be delayed, number one, and they would also not be guaranteed because information trickle down was limited. So that has been the problem that we've been solving using blockchain technology, smart contracts. They're able to quickly generate payout schedules, now ensuring that we would know who needs to be paid, how much, when, quite fast.
Since 2014, more or less, I've been deep diving into what we call blockchain meets GovTech, which means how blockchain can serve as a government technology. Working on how governments, how the public sector can meaningfully adopt blockchains.
I got to meet the other fellows doing awesome and wonderful things. We connect at different levels, discuss different things, especially on how to move our projects forward.
So at the end of the day, the next billion are going to be new users that will make the network bigger.
I think open source is the way to go. Blockchain is an open source solution. Ethereum is open source. And I think the solutions that we look at in terms of for the development sector should also be open.
And thank you for this beautiful conversation as well.
Very thankful and happy to be part of the fellowship. That's really, really exciting. And
and one of the fellows, that Chui, who just spoke in the video, he's in Latin America. He's based in Mexico, but he also has team members in Buenos Aires. And his team has been working to provide solutions for government. His team is now working with the city of Buenos Aires, together with other blockchain startups, to kickstart an ecosystem. It's called Tango ID, which is a self-sovereign digital ID, decentralized and permissionless. The goal is to support more accountable institutions and sustainable economic growth. 4 provinces in Argentina are implementing blockchain ID, including the city of Buenos Aires. So that is very relevant to share today. And speaking of Latin America, as you know, we are bringing DevCon 6 to Bogota, Colombia. It's happening very soon in October. When we made that decision, I tweeted about this a couple of days ago. We did not just pick Bogota, we picked Latin America, including the city of Buenos Aires. And we're actually, in 2019, when we were discussing where to go next, which for DevCon, Patricio from PORP, he did a pitch actually in Berlin, at East Berlin. He did a pitch to me to bring DevCon to Buenos Aires. And we picked Bogota in the end, but his pitch was gave me confidence. We were wondering whether we should bring this to Latin America, and then we made that decision. And we are very grateful for the Argentinian community has been very supportive and helping the DevCon team together with other Latin America communities. So thank you, Argentinian community. So in Latin America, many places are struggling to do better for its basic infrastructure and systems, including financial inclusion. But they also became a hub for talents and entrepreneurs. Ethereum provides tools to build your own solutions, and in Latin America, I can see people's motivation to build their own solutions coming from genuine passion to change their own life. And I think that's very, very powerful. This is why we, Ethereum Foundation, see strong opportunities, the opportunities for Ethereum's next billion builders and users to be born from Latin America. We have been supporting teams and projects in the region and will continue to do so that you can join the Infinite Garden. So please speak to our team members here. If you have any questions about how we support and if you're interested in getting our help. Coming to Argentina is also very special for me and our team members. We enjoy seeing how far the garden has grown here. You have a big community here, and I'm very excited to learn more about the country and the community. I also want to say some things about the originator of OGs of this local community. The Buenos Aires community has been one of the strongest Ethereum communities in the world. And I also learned the hackathons and crypto gathering at this place were the origin of birth to the teams and individuals that have built this beautiful community. There are also teams that have not just been successful, but also have been contributing to the entire Ethereum ecosystem. Nomic, on top left, who's been working to develop tools for developers, including Hard Hat, as you know, and now working with the other teams as a foundation. I am a long-term big fan of PORP. Yes, because I think they represent the culture of Ethereum in many different ways. And there are also other social impact projects that I cannot wait to learn more. And last but not least, I hear Argentinian Ethereum community has the highest percentage of women among everywhere in the world. That is so encouraging and great, and I definitely want to learn why during this trip so we can encourage other communities to learn from you. I'm so happy that I came to your home, Buenos Aires, the city of passion and hope. And of course, you have wine and tango with passion and hope. And I really hope I can learn more of those fantastic stories during this trip. Looking forward to hearing your stories, including your struggles, stories full of magic and adventure. Muchas gracias.